Welcome guys! How are you guys doing? Today I'm doing another reaction. This time I'm going back to my roots and it's not so much a historical reaction, but it's an interesting one. CGP Grey, a very popular channel with over 5 million subscribers, posted a video I think yesterday. The 10th, about the Interstate's Forgotten Code. To be honest, I don't really know anything about the code. I know the highways, the 15th, the 40th, here in Montreal, but more than that, like the 19th interstate, I don't know the American interstate at all. I know the number, but I don't know anything about it. So this is going to be an interesting video. Stay tuned, leave a like and all that.
The interstate highway shields hide within them long-forgotten knowledge. As our great ancestors could navigate by the signs in the sky before the creation of the compass, so too before GPS could they navigate by these signs. Come with me and learn how to navigate the constellations created across a continent by the interstate highway system. First are the Interstate Majors, beginning with I-90 from Seattle to Boston, the longest and northernest of all the I's. Then the southernest, Jacksonville, Florida to Santa Monica, California, I-10. Interstate Majors that run east-west are double digits ending in 0, the bigger the northerner. So filling in the rest, the next northernest is San Francisco, California to Teaneck, New Jersey, I-80, and the next southernest, Florence, South Carolina to Kent, Texas, I-20. Then Cove Fort, Utah to Baltimore, Maryland, I-70, and Little Rock, Arkansas to Fort Worth, Texas, I-30. Okay, so that one is the most minor of the majors, and it doesn't quite fit as well with the rest, with its diagonality. But I'm confident it's the lone exception and not foreshadowing. Next, Barstow, California to Wilmington, North Carolina, I-40, then I-50 and I-60, which don't exist. See, there are older highways than the interstate system, slower other ways not built to the Interstate's Book of Exalted Construction Codes. These are called U.S. highways or U.S. routes, the most famous of which is Route 66, and these use the United States numbered highway system, which put the old U.S. Route 50 and 60 right in the middle. The Department of Transportation knew that only the most devout roadway anoraks would be attuned to the difference between interstates and routes, and normals would simply look at the number. To simplify everyone's life, DOT skipped Interstates 50 and 60 to avoid minds getting muddled in the middle of America. That's the east-west Interstate Majors covered. Now on to north-south, the longest of which is Maine to Miami, Florida, I-95, which, like all majors, no exception surely, are double digits, but ending in 5 now to indicate verticality. On the opposite coast, San Diego, California to Blaine, Washington is I-5. Okay, so already that's not double digits, but maybe officially it has a leading 0, but just not on the sign, right, Department of Transportation? No? Okay, well then I-5 has a leading 0 in our hearts. The rest of the north-south interstate majors are Petersburg, Virginia to Montgomery, Alabama, I-85, a bit of a sister route.
By the way, I want to say this to all Americans, all fellow Americans. Isn't it weird how America stole all of the most important cities in the world's names? Like Petersburg, Virginia? Is this Virginia? That's North Carolina, I believe. Yeah. Petersburg? Are you kidding me? And then there's like Venice and you go, I'm sure, Carthage. Excuse me? Carthage? What? And then there's Paris. There are all these beautiful towns, and then what? America just stole them and put them in no name in the middle of nowhere? Like, oh yeah, by the way, you have Paris, the real Paris, and you have Paris, New York. I mean, it's... How did that come to be? Like, did the Americans just didn't care at all, and they're like, you know what? Petersburg sounds good. Take out the Saint, and everything's great. Like,
route to I-30, San Diego, California to Sweetgrass, Montana, I-15, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to Hialeah, Florida, I-75, Las Cruces, New Mexico to Buffalo, Wyoming, I-25, then I-45 from Houston, Texas to Dallas, Texas. Contrary to popular belief, interstates don't have to be interstate interstates. They can be intrastate interstates. The obvious examples are Hawaii and Alaska, which have intrastate interstates, but also Puerto Rico, which has an extra-state intrastate? I mean, I guess technically it's an extra unincorporated territory?
Yeah.
Anyway, these three being physically disconnected from the rest of the network use a different numbering system with letters.
Whoa.
But back on the continent, there are in fact way more intrastate interstates than interstate interstates. Most are the Interstate Miners we will get to, but I-45 is notable for being the only interstate major that's intrastate. Finishing up the north-south majors, it's Texas again in Laredo to Duluth, Minnesota, I-35, then Chicago, Illinois Illinois to LaPlace, Louisiana, I-55, and finally hop over to Mobile, Alabama, up to Gary, Indiana on I-65. Together, the Interstate Major constellation with its shining numbers lets you navigate the nation. The lower the numbers, the more south and west you are, the higher north and east. If it ends in 0, you're traveling horizontally, and if it ends in 5, vertically. Very satisfying. Now, there are scores of lesser connecting constellations as well. These are Interstate Miners and use 3 digits to communicate their navigational secrets. Interstate Miners diverge from a major and have their last 2 digits match the major from whence they came. Then, if the first digit is even, it means the Interstate Miner will eventually connect back to its parent major. For example, as I-70 crosses the nation, I-670 diverts in Kansas City, Missouri, but eventually circles back to connect to I-70 in Kansas City, Kansas.
Okay, it's kind of cool that they made that. Whoever came up with the idea, it's pretty cool. Not just by the numbers alone, you know that, if you get out the highway through the 670, you know that eventually it will reconnect. But I didn't know that happened. This is interesting.
Even-numbered miners are often called bypasses when they bypass something, or beltways when they encircle something. An interstate miner that starts with an odd number warns that it will not connect back to its parent. This is called a spur. Example, as I-90 goes past Buffalo, I-190 diverges, and the odd digit lets you know you won't be coming back, instead plunging one way into the wilds of Canada. Nice! Though sometimes a spur won't just go nowhere, it will instead connect back to another interstate major. In this case, which of the double digits are used as the base of the triple? And the answer is, there isn't a consistent answer. It's up to the states. So that's interstate majors and minors, but there's also interstate mediums, like I-64 from Wentzville, Missouri to Chesapeake, Virginia, and I-29 from Kansas City, Missouri to Pembina, North Dakota. The interstate mediums follow the same numbering pattern as the majors, all 2 digits, if we keep those leading zeros in our hearts, evens east-west, odds north-south. All in order too, except for I-99, which is so annoying. DOT, why did you do this? What? Congress specifically picked 99 out of order for this highway, so Congress is the only one who can fix it? Ugh. Well, let's just try to ignore that and move on. The interstate majors are all uniquely numbered, but not so with the mediums. There's an I-76 from Big Springs, Nebraska to Denver, Colorado, and another I-76 from Belmar, New Jersey to Akron, Ohio. Sandwiched between the majors I-90 and I-80 are duplicate medium I-84s, I-86s, I-87s, and I-88s. The rule is that as long as the duplicate...
Okay, so this is a huge mess. This is pretty messy, man, when you think about it. But the amount of infrastructure in the United States is just mind-boggling. When you compare, it's not even comparable. When you compare third world countries where they have one highway in the whole country, and then you have the U.S. or any other, major, China, France, Germany, all that, and it's...
Kids are far enough away to avoid muddling minds, it's fine. There are also loads of duplicate interstate miners, which there have to be if you think about it. Take I-95, which crosses 15 densely populated states. To only have 9 options for spurs and bypasses would be rather limiting. In fact, just Maryland alone has an I-195, 295, 395, 495, 595, 695, 795, 895, and really? So close. DOT, you've got to build an I-995 in Maryland just to complete the set for me, please. So that's the system, but as we've already seen with interstate mediums, anything built over decades is going to acquire exceptions. And taking a little detour to my home interstate, I-495, aka the Long Island Expressway, aka the LIE, don't dare call it the lie or locals will laugh at you. This is the spinal spur of the Long Island fish, never connecting back to its parent I-95 because Long Island is an island. But as a one-way spur, it should start with an odd digit, not an even, and it really should be a 2-digit interstate medium because it technically doesn't connect to I-95 at all, rather just dropping you off in Midtown Manhattan with an LOL buddy, good luck finding the Lincoln Tunnel. I guess the LIE is a lie after all. A worse exception on the other coast in San Francisco is Interstate 238, which the number tells you should be a bypass off of I-38, but no, I-38 doesn't exist. I-238 is a one-way spur connecting 2 other interstate miners, I-580 and I-880, so I don't even know what's going on here. There's also some weirdly one-off numbering, such as I-35, which splits into I-35 East and I-35 West to reach Fort Worth and Dallas before rejoining and pulls the same trick up north, dividing in twain east-west branches again to hit the Twin Cities. Why wasn't just one of the branches on each end picked to be the bypass so that the system could be consistent? Was it because the cities didn't want to be the one considered bypassed? That's totally the reason, isn't it? The weirdest one-off is the nice I-69, which splits itself into I-69 East, I-69 West, and I-69C. Okay, you do you, I-69. At least you have a sign, unlike back in New York with America's smallest Interstate 878 at just under a mile, which apparently doesn't deserve a sign, so the interstate anoraks can never complete their selfie collection. Okay, that's enough exceptions. I could do this all day. I already cut so many from the script you wouldn't believe it. Back to the big, beautiful, constructed constellation and its lost wayfinding ways, now revealed so that as your ancestors before you navigated by the sky, you too can go on an American road trip navigating by the interstate numbers alone.
That was a great video. Bravo, bravo, bravo. This was very good. I really enjoyed the video. Oh, it's continuing. It's not over.
Well, after you memorize all the exceptions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. I was just expecting CGP Grey. Always brings quality content. The animations were great. The constellation concept was very well thought out. But yeah, man, the highway system is so complicated when you think about it. It's so like all over the place. I mean, it's not complicated the way he explained. You know, the higher the number, the higher up you are. The lower the number is, the lower you are in the country. But it still is, you know, so many, you know, inconsistencies. You have so many highway numbers were repeated, you know, in states. You know, like there's the 230. I'm just picking a number here. I'm just playing it around, like the 549 in Maryland, and then there's the Rio 540. You know what I mean? But yeah, overall, really enjoyed the video. Tell me, guys, what you think. But yeah, the amount of concrete that must have been poured to create this highway system must have been insane. When you think about it, that America is it's an incredibly large country. And to know that you can take your car from New York and drive on a highway from New York, you can go all the way to North Dakota. It's mind-boggling that, you know, each and every, you know, that it's all connected so well. Anywho, I'm getting off topic. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe maybe, or leave a comment. And I'll see you guys next time. See you guys.